Hey guys, so today's video is a recap of everything going on with Tana MONGEAU, but also Jaden, Nessa, Josh, Mads. I'm trying to basically fit it all into one video because it all kind of links, and I think that's like the best way to do it right now. So I've been waiting to see kind of what goes on, and there was supposed to be more updates, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon unless I'm wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong actually. So I just decided to film it now instead of waiting for the updates to come along, because that'd be like a waiting game, just like a forever waiting game. If you guys don't know who I am, I do commentary / drama videos multiple times a week, just whenever something happens. Subscribe, hit that bell, like, comment for engagement. It really helps to push the videos out. Also, I have a book channel, beauty channel, and a podcast that will all be in the description. Let's just get into it. We have Nessa, Josh Richards, Mads Lewis, and Jaden Hostler. They're all TikTokers, very huge TikTokers, super successful. Now, Nessa's a musician, Jaden's a musician, Mads Lewis is just a TikToker, and Josh is a TikToker / podcaster with Dave Portnoy on the BFFs podcast. And also just like a general businessman behind the scenes. He invests in a lot of different things, and that's how he makes money. And he's actually the highest paid Canadian TikToker. I think there was like a list coming out. Anyway, he makes a lot of money. Nessa and Josh were dating, and Jaden and Mads were dating. Then Jaden and Nessa decided to create a song called La Di Die together. They performed it, you know, recorded it in the studio, did the music video. Apparently on the reveal party of that song, Mads was crying because I'm assuming she kind of knew something was going on between Jada and Nessa. And then Jaden and Nessa get together. Josh and Mads seem to be left in the dust, and there was talks of like, was there cheating going on? Was there overlapping? Was it just like break up and move on together? Because that's what it looked like publicly. They had broken up and then started dating together, but it was very soon after, and obviously with the addition of like already knowing each other, already filming a music video together and a song, like it just looked like there was a bit of an overlap. And Mads actually went on the Call Her Daddy podcast to expose Nessa and Jaden and talk about how even their manager like wanted them to get together because it was good for the brand and good for the music, and you know, to promote the music more, like they just wanted them together. And apparently she found some like conversations between them and just like some sneaking around, so it looks like there was a bit of an overlap going on. Josh then moves on, you know, he's doing his thing. Mads moves on, she gets a new boyfriend. That boyfriend and her then break up, and that boyfriend then starts hanging out with Jaden, which like, ew. I feel really bad for Mads in this whole thing, because I think she got a lot of shit for simply just being heartbroken. Like I think she had every right to talk about this, and she had every right to be angry. As much as I love Nessa and I love her music and I think she's stunning, she deserves the best in life, I do think Mads had every right to be angry, you know, mainly because Jaden and Josh were best friends and Mads and Nessa were best friends. They actually lived in the same house for ages. So this just seems like an ongoing, like full-on betrayal. And why am I recapping all of this? Because Jaden has now been caught cheating on Nessa. So you know the saying, how you get him is how you lose him? It prevails again. Like I just feel like we see this pattern over and over again, where people think that like a cheater is going to change for them, and it just doesn't happen. I don't know if cheating is like it's just something that people can't beat. Like, is it like once you're a cheater you're always a cheater? I don't know. I want you guys' opinion on this. I know we're not like therapists, we can't really delve into like the psyche and like why this happens and like why people do this. I'm seeing a lot of commitment issues, I'm assuming some attachment issues, but can you ever stop being a cheater? Like officially, like you never cheat again? Because I'm not convinced, because every time I hear of a cheater, they cheat continuously. I mean, you have Tristan with Khloe Kardashian, that's an ongoing thing. He got like someone pregnant these days. It just seems like it doesn't matter who they love and how much they love them and what kind of a commitment there is, they just can't help themselves. But I don't know, you guys let me know what you think. Anyway, the worst part is when Jaden and Nessa started dating, they immediately started getting a bunch of matching tattoos. I think they're like counting to like 3 or 4 or 5 tattoos at this point. Obviously I'm not there to see all their tattoos, it's just kind of what I've seen publicly. They have a few matching tattoos, so that just goes to show like Jaden was so committed to Nessa, you know, this whole like public displays of affection and getting tattoos together, and he still cheated on her. Nessa posted on her stories a chat that she blurred out who the name is. So she posted a chat between what looks like Jaden and another female that he's talking to, basically just being like, you excite me, I'm going to save you as a different name in my phone. So that just goes to show that apparently Jaden was cheating on Nessa. Now the plot thickens when Landon Barker, Travis Barker's son, is in everyone's DMs basically saying that Jaden and Josie have been getting very close for a really long time. And this is pretty interesting because Jaden and Travis work together a lot. I mean, Travis does a lot of drumming for live performances for Jaden and Nessa. So it looks like obviously Landon's kind of in the mix, and like Landon would be someone that would know what's going on behind the scenes. So the fact that he's saying that Jaden and Josie were getting close together at parties, like it just, you know, it seems probable. It seems like he knows what he's talking about. So obviously he's telling everyone this. Josie then tries to debunk it and is like, no, she unfollows Jaden. Jaden then kisses another artist on stage while he's performing, and his mom actually goes on to defend him, which like, look, why are you enabling your son's behavior? I hate to talk about people's parenting, but why are you doing that? Like, it would have just been better if you hadn't spoken out at this point. But she essentially said like, this meant nothing, like they just did like a little goodbye kiss. Okay. Josie then refollows Jaden Then we get an episode of the BFFs podcast with Gabby Hanna, and at the end they talk about Jaden and Nessa, and they talk about how Josh has, after all of this went down, Josh has been liking some fan edits between them on TikTok, and the girl that he's currently dating is kind of getting angry about that, obviously for obvious reasons, but I think Josh is just fueling the fire. Like, he just wants to see the world burn at this point. They've been now caught going on a little like dog walking date together. Now Josh actually was doing like an interview with one of the paparazzi guys and said this was just for closure, they're not getting back together, and he reiterated that same idea on the podcast recently, where he said that essentially they just wanted to get some closure, they just wanted to talk about life. This was the Dixie episode. He just wanted to get some closure and just wanted to, like, you know, because they had ended on such bad terms with like cheating allegations, he just wanted them to end on good terms and like have that conversation now that she's single, and apparently they're not getting back together, but he still wants her to go on the BFFs podcast and he thinks that he can make it happen. However, Nessa Barrett was in the comment section on a different, like just on TikTok, basically saying that she wouldn't go on the BFFs podcast. So I want to see on the BFFs podcast, but because she said she's not going on it, I just decided to film this video. But now Josh is saying that he can still get her on the podcast, and I don't know, you know. But then how does Tana Mongeau play into all of this? Tana Mongeau for the longest time has been heavily defending Nessa Barrett. You know, when she was getting hate for the cheating allegations, Tana was telling everyone on her podcast and to paparazzi that no one knows what's going on behind the scenes, and that if people knew the whole truth, they wouldn't be going as hard on Nessa as they're going. Then we had the roast of Bryce Hall, where Tana Mongeau basically accused Josh of cheating on Nessa with a bunch of girls, which was actually a reiteration of something that Chase Hudson said a few years back. He said that Josh had been cheating on Nessa. So if this was like an eye for an eye thing, then technically no one is wrong because everyone's wrong. The only person innocent so far is Mads. Poor Mads. And she's thinking the most hate out of everyone. This just goes to show like the misogyny on the internet. It's just the fact that she was like the innocent one in this whole story and she's getting the most hate. But like everyone's cheating on everyone. Everyone's just like, oh, like Josh and Matt and Jaden and Nessa, not Mads. And then Mads gets the most hate. I don't know. It just seems like Mads hasn't done anything wrong and it's just been wronged by everyone. So Tana just going hard for Nessa, just like completely, you know, posting TikToks about it, the whole thing. Then this whole thing happens with the cheating. Jaden cheats on Nessa. Nessa gets really angry about it. Tana Mongeau then FaceTimes Jaden while he's doing a meet and greet and posts a screenshot of that on her Instagram story to like support his tour and support his meet and greet. Nessa Barrett then unfollows her. TikTok Insider then reports on that. Tana Mongeau then comments under that being like, oh my god, I'm really upset about this. Why would she unfollow me? And Nessa Barrett then responds to a different Instagram post basically saying that she had unfollowed Tana Mongeau because Tana Mongeau posted her ex that cheated on her. Like, that's just not something she wants to see on her social media when she opens it up. And like, if someone's gonna post Jaden, like no bad blood, but she's just gonna unfollow them. And I think that is completely valid. Like, no contact after a breakup, mainly when it comes to cheating, is a completely valid thing to do. So I don't blame Nessa. Also, she does have an album coming up that I'm very excited about. And there is a song there called Die First, about like being so in love with someone that you want to die first before they die and leave you, and like before things mess up. Now, it seemed like that song was about Jaden when she first had announced it, and now she's changed it, and in the promo she said it's about her mum, and she did like a whole different vibe to it, which like it could have been about her mum from the get-go, but I have a feeling it was a love song about Jaden. But now that he has cheated on her, she doesn't want to post a love song about him, but she doesn't want to scrap the song because it's a very good song. So I'm assuming she just changed the meaning to be about her mum, which like good for her. I'm glad she's not scrapping the song and she's just giving it like a different meaning. Tana Mongeau also in different drama. You know how Tana Mongeau has been just dragging James Charles across all social medias for a really long time now. Recently, James Charles had actually posted this TikTok.
Put a name on your head and you have to guess who it is.
Tana Mongeau.
Okay, how did you know that?
Michael, if I took your phone right now and looked at your Google search history, it would be OnlyFans, SpongeBob memes, and who does James Charles have beef with? Get the fuck out of my house.
Essentially, he just like shades Tana. Now, people are wondering, does that mean that they're like in full-on beef? Like he's beefing her publicly, she's beefing him? Or have they rekindled their friendship behind the scenes? Because, you know, Tana Mongeau does this thing where she chats about someone for a really long time and then like she just befriends them at a random party, or the other way around, or whatever it is. She just has zero loyalty to like what she says. Just like with this Jaden and Nessa situation, like you would think that based on how much she liked Nessa, she would have that loyalty to not post Jaden on her social media, but she still did. And then she was shocked and bamboozled when Nessa unfollowed her. I think she does the same thing the other way around. Like she tried about Shane and accused him of doing inappropriate things to her when she was 17, you know, with that video, that infamous video. And then she rekindled their friendship at a recent Jeffree Star launch that they had in LA. So clearly, you know, she doesn't really stick to what she says, which like it's her prerogative. Like if she feels comfortable hanging out with them, that's perfectly fine. But she does this a lot. So people are wondering if her and James had rekindled maybe at some LA party, and now that they're like joke beefing on the internet, because James Charles normally wouldn't post something like that if it actually would lead to like drama. I think James Charles is a little bit more calculated with the way he does beef with people. Like, whenever he's fallen out with people, it really took a lot for him to post about it, because I think he doesn't like the unknown. Like, he doesn't like to start something that he doesn't really know where it would end up. So like when Tati posted her video, that was like the worst thing for James, because it was so out of his control, and he seems like a control freak when it comes to social media. So like obviously when the allegations against him came out, that was something that was completely out of his control. Hated it. He would like refuse to address it just because it's so out of his control. So I feel like because James doesn't really do things that are out of his control, like he likes to be in control of the drama that he's in, this just seems like very not in James's character to post something like this. I'm just wondering if after all the like stuff that Tana said, if she had actually rekindled her friendship with James, I'm gonna be very like disappointed. Like, my standards for Tana are already so low that if she had done this, like, I'm actually disappointed, because I think if you accuse someone of being a criminal, allegedly, and to then like rekindle and like do this funny like beef on the internet, kind of makes me sick. I hope that's not the case. Like, I hope that they haven't rekindled their friendship, but what do I expect from Tana at this point? Not much. Anyway, that's it for Tana, James, Nessa, Jaden, Mads, Josh, Landon, BFF's podcast, and everyone else. Like, I've managed to put a lot into one video. Subscribe with that bell, like, comment for engagement, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.